time move here, Gary.
Talk about elevating and linker. Jermaine Griffin says, well, if Kobe can't do it, maybe it's my turn to take over. I'm the second leading scorer on this team.
Yeah. What's going on? It's your boy Mell from Queens on WGJS Radio, and you are tuned in to Mell from Queens Sports Talk. And we here with my boy Malcolm. We're going to get into, he's my co-host today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some things he got going on, things he's working on. But we want y'all to call in, 347-410-8077, 347-410-8077. But we're going to start out real quick. And Malcolm, just introduce yourself, and let them know what you do and what you got out there, man,
What's going on, everybody? This is Malcolm Boyd. For those who don't know, I am here today. For those who do know, I'm an author, director, actor, producer, and I guess a radio host as of today.
That's right.
But we're on my favorite subject, sports. You know how that goes.
Yeah, so we've been in some conversation, and I couldn't wait to get you up here to talk about some sports, and so that's one thing people don't realize is that a lot of times we be in different fields and stuff, but that passion and that love for sports, man, it's just a great thing. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about some topics today, and I think the first topic we could jump into is like Roger Goodell. I feel like he got a lot of pressure put on him this week because. So let me ask you a question. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension? Let's get into that first.
Okay, it's a two-edged sword. The brother got out there, old country boy got out there in the big city with the girls and the big money, and he got a little carried away, got himself caught up. With that being said, now that we're on the other side of the hill, there's no criminal charges. Mm-hmm. As of yet, nobody that I heard is like screaming and hollering that he really got away with some heinous crime.
Right.
He just acted stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
paying through the nose for it.
Oh, yeah.
So it seems like everybody's happy.
Right.
So I don't understand why he gets the 6-game suspension, and then the NFL turns around and appeals it. I don't get it. Why are they? Now,
that's what I feel. So so recently, because you know how it is in this market. Like, it's no innocent until proven guilty, especially with the NFL. It's like you're guilty because, you got to sit out while the whole arbitration and investigation is being done.
Well, it's kind of just the way the world is, man.
Yeah.
You're only as bad as what you get caught doing.
Right.
Because as human beings, we're all up to something to some degree, if not physically. Mentally, metaphorically, spiritually, whatever. There's that little thing in us that keeps us on edge. And the best guy on earth, is that guy until they find out something. Look at Michael Jackson.
Oh, right.
Michael Jackson,
right.
you couldn't say anything bad about him from A to Z. Then all these allegations come up.
Right.
And now we sit and listen to his music. Same thing, R. Kelly. What the heck, man? You were bumping and grinding to his music before, and now all of a sudden trying to act innocent. What the heck?
Now, that's the thing a lot of people, a topic, because for one, people say, can we separate the sport or the celebrity from whatever action it is? Now, in this situation, like you said, there were no criminal charges not pressed against him, but he wasn't charged with anything.
Yeah,
he wasn't charged. So a lot of this stuff is like, civil court stuff. And that's what people say, like, okay, he was fine. Like you said, he was fine until you asked for a trade.
Yeah.
Everything they know about him, he's been playing him for 4 years. The minute he asked for a trade, like, okay, brother, stay in your place, man. Like,
not to get off of that, but I'm telling you what is funny about the whole thing is the Cleveland Browns.
Oh.
What is wrong with Cleveland?
Yeah.
What is wrong? They give this man $200 and something million.
Well, that goes back to the saying.
Only Cleveland would pull that.
That goes back to the saying. They say, well, you know what? A lot of times you see in situations, as long as they feel like you got value, they're going to give you the money. And you can
they're
bring money.
Give you the money.
But it's sad in situations, but we see that happen, a lot of times. And once they feel like you have no value and you're in the same situation.
Under the circumstances, I think Cleveland, with the kind of money they gave Deshaun Watson, if they were willing to give that kind of money out, I think they could have done better than that. They could have got a starting quarterback free and clear of problems, ready to play right now with his skill. If they really went out there in free agency and said, hey, we got $30 million for you for I don't know how many years it is.
But I don't think outside of right now,
somebody would have bid that's decent.
I mean,
Deshaun Watson hasn't played in a year and a half. They still don't know when he's going to play again. The NFL, he's got skeletons in his closet, and the closet door isn't even closed yet.
The good thing about it is that he's young. So that's that. I'm thinking like, but you know how it is. So they basing it off what he was doing before the allegations came out. So he was a top 5 talent before the allegations came out. He was. You could label him a top 5 quarterback. He's in the NFL.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude with the football.
They look at it as because he's still so young that they think that year they're not really going to affect him.
But see, that makes me nervous too, because at the end of the day, whatever he got himself into, he bought his way out of it. Neither one of us could have pulled that. Nobody in this room could have done what he did. We'd have been hanging from a rope or sitting in somebody's jail cell with some kind of huge. But this is my question.
Okay.
This is my question. How do you give that man that kind of money? And are you 100% sure this dude just doesn't have something strange in his character where he'll go out there and do something like that again?
Because so this is how this is.
I can't pay you like that till I know for sure.
Right. So without all of us really, we wasn't there in the case, right?
Right.
The best way I can look at it is that when they looked at the case, right, because there were no criminal charges, right, it looked like it's potentially where, because he had some settlements, we know that. And some stuff just got pretty much like
he had over
got dismissed.
20 women.
Right. So by someone walking in. So what I'm saying is that in some situations, because there were no criminal charges, and they look at it as like, so I'm looking at both. So I'm trying to put it together. Give me a second. So here
he sound like Cleveland's front office.
No.
Here, let me put it together.
So here's how they looking at it. They're looking at it. There could have been questionable character possibly in him.
Right.
And maybe some of the people that's charged.
And some of the people
accurate evidence and stuff.
Were down to get money.
Right. So they're looking at it saying that there's a top 5 talent that there were no allegations. The story's a little choppy on everybody in. So we're gonna invest in him. We're gonna invest in him. I mean that's the only way I could think about it.
Yeah, in case our audience is wondering what's going on, we don't have ghosts. We have engineers and people in the studio. That's whose voice you hear.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's the only way I feel like you can look at it. But here's the problem is, now you tell me what you think. For him not playing last year, and there's no criminal charges, right? Should that not be Tom Sawyer? Why are we still looking for another year suspension?
That's my question. If you're going to let the brother back in, take what was first served up, the 6-game suspension, and move forward. Stop hashing it and
my thing is that even the 6-game suspension, should that even be necessary? Because he didn't play last year.
Because the way society is now,
right?
Everybody wants somebody to have to answer for something. You gotta pay the piper. You gotta pay the piper.
And you know what the funny thing is?
Even if it's bull crap, you still just the way society's set up.
And that's the only answer.
Okay, you know what I mean?
That's like you know what I mean? That's definitely that's the only answer, because other than that it don't make sense.
The NFL does not serve themselves well by appealing his suspension, asking for more, because it keeps that subject and that topic at the top of the pile. That negativity is the first thing you're going to talk about. Is Deshaun Watson and the suspension, Deshaun Watson and these women and da-da-da-da. Instead of talking about, up-and-coming stars and how the league is shaping up and so forth and so on,
And that's one of the issues, because originally it was stated that the NFL and Deshaun Watson's camp, once the arbitrator made a decision, they was like, all right, we cool, we're going to leave it alone.
And let's move forward.
So what happened was, once the decision was made and people found out that the 6 games, at first I don't think the NFL was going to appeal it, but they started getting that. That's why I said NFL Goodell in hot water now. Okay, so now he to me it feels like a do it to save face moment.
Yeah, okay. Cincinnati's running back. Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
What comes to mind when I say that?
I don't know.
See, they handled his situation. His camp handled it. They took their lumps. They shut up and moved forward. Do you remember what the controversy with Joe Mixon was? Remember he came out of Oklahoma. He got drunk at a party and he socked that girl.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember.
Before he got drafted.
Right.
But he was potentially like a number 1, number 2 pick coming out of Oklahoma.
Right.
And some party, he socked the heck out of some. No, they were at a restaurant.
What happened was I remember the story. So and people still, you know how this society we in. She put his hands on him and he
put his hand
back. He
knocked
back.
her across.
and a lot of situations is like when you deal
I'm not
with,
laughing at that. Oops.
And a lot of situations like even just say they feel like if you don't show enough remorse, like if you defend yourself too much, the media don't like that. All those movements don't like that.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They want you to just say, listen, I was wrong, I'm a bad guy, I'm all of this stuff, and move on. But when you try to say, hey, I didn't do anything, I want to, let this follow through, that's when they really stay on top of you.
To my knowledge, he really hasn't. Deshaun Watson hasn't admitted guilt, but nor has he denied it. He's done what his lawyers, his team has said. Keep your mouth shut. Be quiet. Be humble. Keep your mouth shut, and you'll get back to playing ball.
Well, last night, he made a statement.
I know he apologized.
Yeah, he apologized. He didn't say that he was guilty in his apology, but he pretty much apologized to this situation impacting others' lives. So it's like they're saying. So to me, it's like, okay, you can't. So now to play devil's advocate, and now it's like, okay, Deshaun, you can't be smacking us in the face and come up here after we give you 6 games and be unapologetic. You got to show a little bit more empathy and sympathy to make it go. It seemed like
I didn't rob that bank, but I'm sorry those people's money come up missing.
Right. Exactly. That's what it is right now. It's like, yeah, all right. It's like you got to do something because they felt like, and I was reading the story, like they felt like he wasn't, sympathetic enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and that's how it be. And that's how it be. So
anyway.
So all right. So with that being said, we're gonna move on from football, but we're just gonna talk about 2 things real quick before we move on, because we are in New York. The Jets.
Oh, right.
You talking about Zach Wilson?
Oh yeah, Zach. Yeah, what is with the Jets, man? They got buzzard luck, man. This dude seems like he was going to be okay as a quarterback, given a chance to grow, but on a bootleg around the left side, no, the right side. I'm sorry. He ran about 15 yards and he should have just slid. Yeah. He was close to the sideline. He's going for extra yards. He tried to put a move on the defender, and nobody touched him. Mm-hmm. And he cut left, he cut right, and his knee stayed right. Yeah. And it buckled, and he went down. And now they're saying he's going to be out,
2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks.
So that's a bad situation. And that's
the knee he hurt last year. Yeah. Same knee. Yeah. So you know what that means.
Yeah. So that's how it is. That's why I don't like about the NFL's me personally, their players association, the president of their players association, because I feel like they got the worst in all major sports, the NFL, because it just seems like things don't work in their favor. And this is a sport where like you are probably the most likely to get injured. So you kind of need more things in your favor. You know what I mean? And it seems like they just do a horrible job.
It's the owners,
so you got a young guy right now.
It's those
owners. You know what I mean? Potentially, yeah.
It's those owners, man. That term where they say on the plantation, it fits the NFL. When you break it down to the nuts and bolts of it.
And that's how they explain it. A lot of people behind, closed doors, in the media, they speak about the NFL. They speak about Roger Goodell. We see what happened with a lot of situations with athletes, how they treat the black athletes. Because even with that being said, all the allegations, you talked about Mixon, right?
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, right? Just think about, people forget about, and we're going to move on because I want to talk about the Giants too. People forget about, and I always got to bring this up, people always forget about the allegations for Peyton Manning. They try to make that go away.
Of course they
And
do.
he's a Hall of Famer. He got one of the best jobs in the business, like a caller was saying, and it's okay. But imagine if that was like, Patrick Mahomes in the same situation as Peyton Manning.
Which situation with Peyton Manning?
Well, when he was at Tennessee, a trainer alleged that some inappropriate, things went on, touching, or she felt uncomfortable type situation. So it was a lot of allegations there, in which
look at
it was settled up.
Remember Ben Roethlisberger? That thing with
Same,
him,
yeah.
The girl in the bathroom
Yeah.
at the club, and said Ben was drunk off his ass. But you can, we're human beings, man.
Right.
And these guys are full of testosterone. They're young, they're powerful, they're famous. There's people in their face, male and female. Yada 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 yada. You can't let your guard down for a split second.
But that's why it goes even more important to have a solid, NFL president for the Players Association.
Yeah.
Because when you get in these situations, you can lose everything right now. NFL is a lot different. I mean, once you lose your NFL endorsements, because think about it, 'cause it ain't like the NBA where you have 82 games, you can make it up. I mean, you only get 16 games a season. So if you miss 1 or 2 years, you start losing endorsements and you're trying to get back out there. It's not the same. And it's sad that in that sport that, a lot of the CBA contract don't even, help the players out, a lot. But also...
It's the way the NFL is structured.
Yeah.
And you have, it's the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
As far as, these multi-millionaires back in the day, now billionaires.
Yeah.
It's a boys' club.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a team. I want to see how this thing's going to work out with the Denver Broncos. Condoleezza Rice, Lewis Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the other sister's name is, but they're a group that they bought the team. Now, all the players work as a whole. I'm sorry, not players. All the owners work as a whole.
Right. Yep.
If one owner wants something, the other owners will, okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So if there's a new owner, because you have to be approved by all the owners before they'll sell the team to you. I don't care how much money you have.
Right.
Remember Trump tried to get in the NFL. And it's like, oh, no, this dude. No. And it wasn't because at that particular time I kind of followed it. Mm-hmm. He had the money, but his reputation,
right,
and the baggage that came along with him, the owners was like, no, we don't need this dude because
everywhere
he goes, he's too messy.
Right.
He's too messy, and he also doesn't go along with the, he's kind of a loose cannon.
Yeah. He do his own thing. Right.
For good or bad, he does his own thing, and the NFL owners.
It's like we ain't with that.
Yeah. They're solid, man.
Right,
They're solid.
Yeah. So my other question is, and then we're gonna get into I want to talk a little bit Kevin Durant. After this, the Giants. Now here's my thing. I don't want to wait on Daniel.
In San Francisco. San Francisco Giants.
Nah, you know what Giants we talking about, man. Look, we gonna hold that flag. See, we got one thing about the Giants, man. Because the Jets been so bad for so long, man. We never gonna get thrown off the throne. You know what I mean? We got our chips. We got our legacy is just too big, and they just been so bad for so long. Like we good, but I feel like I don't care about Daniel Jones developing as a quarterback. I just want to win right now. I want Tyrod Taylor to play. Like, I feel like that's what the team need, because I feel like now I don't feel like Daniel Jones is the guy. So I'd rather play Tyrod Taylor, try to get some wins, and hope we can land another free agent and say, let me come to New York.
Do you remember Brad Johnson?
Yeah.
Brad Johnson was quarterback for Tampa Bay when they won the Super Bowl. The very first time Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. Brad Johnson was not a good quarterback.
Right.
He was a game manager. Mm-hmm. The coach says, go out here, run 5 yards, turn around, hand the ball off.
Yep.
That's exactly what he does. If the guy isn't there to hand the ball off, you're in trouble.
Right.
He has no improvisation skills, or I'll hit you along with something like that, or falling down off his back leg, you can throw it, 50 yards through the air and hit a wide receiver open on the other side of the field. That's not Brad Johnson. That being said, Tampa Bay won because everybody else on that team, Warwick Dunn, Not
They had
Tiki,
Sapp
not
on
Tiki,
defense.
but
They had Sapp on
was
the
on
defense.
Tiki Barber's brother.
Rondé Barber.
Rondé Barber. That was a solid team.
Didn't they have Keyshawn on that?
Yes,
they won with
did.
Keyshawn,
Yeah,
right? I
Keyshawn
think
Johnson
Keyshawn was
did.
on that team.
That was a solid team from Waterboy all the way up. So with Daniel Jones, sorry, I beg your pardon. Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor is physically, like, I'm putting it out there, physically like most brothers, he's got the physical. He could get loose, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But he's been in the league long enough now where it's apparent that he's not that guy. Some guys just aren't that guy. Where when all else fails, the coach looks at that guy and says, man, win this game.
Right.
And he goes out there and does something. Tyrod, for whatever reason, yeah.
I mean, he didn't have a bad season last year.
But he's that kind of quarterback. He's always going to be
right.
He's going to be in he's not going to be down in the dumps, but he's not going to be like, oh, we got Tyrod, we're going to win this game.
And that's so that's my thing. So my thing is this, because I know Tyrod is not that guy either. I just don't want to forfeit any more games this year trying to figure out if Daniel Jones is the guy, right? What I would rather do is I'd rather start Tyrod Taylor. If he's playing well and he's doing his thing, I'm gonna ride it out. If he shows that he can't handle it, we start losing, then I bring Daniel Jones in, and then I let him finish out the season. See how them work. Because, and I'm only saying that because I don't see him as the guy and making an immediate impact. Like, I feel like this year we can't afford to get off to a slow start. I feel like with Tyrod Taylor in the lineup, that kind of helps us not getting off to a slow start.
I'm thinking the opposite, and I'm gonna think like general manager right now. This is what I would do. With Tyrod Taylor, I know what I got. Tyrod Taylor. He's been, how long has he been in the league now? 6, 7 years? Yeah, I know what I got with him. I know what I got. He's a solid backup. He's going to come in, and if I got a good team.
Wait, you don't think? I think he could be a game manager quarterback. I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. He's a good backup.
No, you said backup.
Yeah, he's a solid backup. That's what I'm not mixing my words here.
So okay, go ahead.
So okay, as a general manager, I know what I got with Tyrod Taylor.
Okay.
He's my fallback guy. If we have a decent team, I can put him in there, and the rest of the team can hopefully we'll win some games to get us to the playoffs. With Daniel Jones, I'm not sure what Daniel Jones. I don't think we've seen Daniel Jones' ceiling yet. We're pretty close to it, but I think there's room for him to improve a little. I want to see what his ceiling's like, because now is his turn. What's it? This is his third year now.
This is going into his
third or fourth?
Third year. This is third year. Yeah, this is his third year.
As a quarterback, now this is your opportunity. Are you going to suck it up, step up, and show us what you're about? You're going to and as a quarterback, you got to take the team and say, hey, you guys, I'm the man,
right?
And this is what we're going to do, and we're going to win these games off of this, that, and other thing. You know what I mean?
I feel like
that's what like Brady does. That's what Manning does. That's what all the good quarterbacks do. What's it called? Just went to L.A. last year, won the Super Bowl.
Stafford.
Stafford stepped his game up,
right?
And his team saw what he was doing, and said, "You know what? This dude's serious. Let's go." Because in football, everybody knows you're only going to go as far as your quarterback takes you.
Even with Stafford, his whole career, he's been playing. He's been getting numbers, but they wasn't winning. They wasn't doing anything.
They were in Detroit.
But that's what I'm saying.
Detroit.
So it brings it back to with Tyrod Taylor, right? If he's in a situation. Like, just say, like, if he's like the Matt Stafford over the last few years, you don't think that if they build, like, a solid team? So I guess my question is are you – so as you as a GM, you're more so concerned about developing Daniel Jones right now?
Well, let me finish my point.
Okay.
Let me finish my point. What I would do is I would start Daniel Jones. I would see what I have in Daniel Jones. Hopefully Daniel Jones steps up and shows me what I'm looking for. If he doesn't step up and show me what I'm looking for, at least, hopefully, he looks good enough where I can package him up and ship him out and get a draft pick for him or something like that, because somebody's going to be needing him. In the meantime, I got Tyrod Taylor on the bench. I could inject him in the game at any given time. He's used to that. That's been his career. For the most part, He's been somebody's backup. He gets in. He shows out a little bit. And I can take it and ship it and just, because with what you have right now, if Daniel Jones doesn't take it to another level, this season's a wash again.
But so that's what I'm saying. So okay,
I'm serious.
right? No.
I mean, realistically
so
speaking.
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying is that I guess it's a matter of we're playing GM from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because you want to see it the West End. And I'm saying like, listen, man, we don't have no time to wait. Because here's my thing is having Tyrod Taylor as a backup to me. I have to let Daniel Jones know that the job is his straight up. Because Tyrod Taylor is so good that he's going to put pressure on the fans. The moment it could be game one. If Daniel Jones start acting up, they're going to be chanting Tyrod Taylor. They're going to be chanting those things. I guess what I'm getting is I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. What you're saying is that you're saying like, listen, Daniel Jones, the ball is yours. Go out there, do your thing.
Sink or swim, baby. Sink or swim.
All right.
Sink or swim. Save our ship. SOS.
I mean, it's people.
Save our ship or same old S.
And you're not the only one. There's people out there that feel that way. I'm just tired of going out in direction with these quarterbacks because I feel like he had enough time to do that.
Ownership.
So I just want us to have a productive season this year, and if I can ride out the next, just say if Tyrod Taylor gives me a productive season, we do have a great season, and I could ride out with him and maybe another 2 years or whatever, I would do that, right? Just to kind of give Daniel Jones a little bit more time to develop. But if Tyrod Taylor is not moving the needle, I'm looking at Daniel Jones and saying like, now you can be the Brady, just like when what's his name? It's a little better. When Brady took over for Bledsoe, Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, like Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe and just say, you know what, I'm gonna make it happen.
But look what Brady did though. Look what Brady did.
Right, and he's no Brady.
Yeah,
right,
he's no Brady.
He's no Brady, yeah.
But look what Brady did, though. Brady came in off the bench. Nobody knew Brady from somebody on the other side of town sleeping underneath a bridge.
Right.
He knew what his opportunity was. He gritted his teeth and says, I'll be blank if they ever get me off this starting lineup again. This is mine whenever you're done. And he did everything in his powers, man. The dude's not a physically talented dude or nothing like that.
That's what I want from Daniel. That's what I'm saying. That's why I would start.
That's why I'm saying this is Daniel Jones' third year. You got to start him.
Now here's my other reason why.
Because he's still trying to figure it out.
So now here's my other reason why. So if you start him and he tank, right? I know you talked about the trade.
Yeah.
His value, because already his trade value is questionable, right? He's going to lose even more trade value. He has more. I feel like if he come in, say Tyrod Taylor starts out bad, right? And you throw Daniel Jones in there and he don't get enough to prove himself and he plays bad as well, at least you can fall back on, hey, to when you want to sell him, hey, he ain't get a chance to start the season. We throw him in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like.
Let me put it to you like this.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember the old VCR players?
Yeah.
Okay. They came out years and years ago.
Yeah.
The VHS, and you put the big old tape in, you put it in, and it goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. A popular thing, see, I grew up out west. A popular thing out west was the guys would run around and get the empty boxes and put bricks in them and tape the box up and then come down the street. I got this VCR for sale. You get $50, $75 for it, and you go take it home, open it up, and it's a brick.
Right. I see you go with this. I see.
So unless you have some way to con somebody, Daniel Jones' value is nothing unless Daniel Jones makes it worth something between the start of the season and whenever he tanks or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
His value is nothing.
Okay.
You'll get a third or fourth round for him right now. Maybe.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, if he starts the season and he's doing average, and as the season progresses, as usual, the injury bug starts hitting teams. They need quarterbacks. Okay, Daniel Jones, he's a game manager. He's not a Giants. Okay, here, take Daniel Jones and give me a low first rounder and a player. A high second rounder and a player.
Yeah, maybe a second rounder. Yeah.
You'll get it. You'll get it because teams get desperate when their team when they're having a decent season.
Right.
And the quarterback gets hurt.
But my thing would be if you having a decent season, you just need a quarterback to plug in, then they might ask for Tyrod Taylor still. They might not even still want Daniel because you might want somebody to just jump in. and kind of like manage the rest of the season out.
If Daniel Jones is having a bad season, I'm get out of here.
Yeah,
let me put Tyrod Taylor. Put Tyrod Taylor in,
right.
and let's try to give the guys on the team something to smile about.
Now, and that's the thing. What I'm saying is that
experienced quarterback that has some talent, I can rally the troops around him. We're not going to win a Super Bowl. We'd be lucky if we make the playoffs, but at least, hey, you know, the guys let's have some fun.
Now, I feel like that's probably the decision they're going to make, unless Tyrod Taylor keep blowing them out the water like this in preseason. But I feel like that's probably the decision they're going to go with. They're going to go with Daniel Jones, and I just feel like that. You know, if he doesn't make it happen this time, I don't know if he's going to be able to recover. So yeah, now we're gonna leave it there.
It'll be a career backup.
Yeah,
it'll be a career backup.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah, he can get a backup job for sure. Yeah, but we want to get your opinion. 347-410-8077.
Yeah, I want to hear somebody.
8077. Give us a call. 347-410-8077. It seemed like the NBA is just trying to stay like active right now, because you know normally for years the NBA's been controlling year round, the summers, the free agency. I feel like this year the buzz haven't been as crazy, but they still keeping the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving situation alive.
Man, that's soap opera, bro. That's a soap opera.
Right, because I'm like, okay, so it started out with Kevin Durant asking for a trade, right? And we waiting for a trade. It was Boston. It was no, it wasn't. It was Boston. No, it was Miami, Phoenix, and Miami and Phoenix that I remember. Those were his two main destinations. We heard teams in the media. Now think about it. We haven't heard it for Kevin Durant. Boston wanted him. Other people wanted him. You know, possibly Golden State. So now the closer we get, it's crazy how when nothing is being done, they start just throwing up. They're trying to attack players' characters. Now it's
the talking point, man. That's all it is, man.
Yeah, but the thing is this. Now it's on top of him wanting to trade. Now he want to get rid of. Think about this: Steve Nash and the GM the front.
Nash. I mean, I'm not hating on Nash, man. But Nash walked into a hornet's nest. He walked into a hornet's. Nash is a rookie for the most part. He's a rookie coach, and he comes to New York with all these stars on the team.
Privilege.
Where they scrutinize you. Man, Nash should have been a coach like somewhere like Orlando. Somewhere like Orlando, man, where he can learn.
And then be ready when you
got
that
walk into this
cachet.
You don't walk into this big market like this, man. Play that. Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, man. Yeah, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
You don't walk into a big market like New York and you're a rookie coach, man, with one of the best players in the world on the team and a head case. Because, like it or not, admit it or not, this dude here skills are on another level. But he is crazy as hell. I'm sorry. There's no other way.
So we're gonna be at it. So we probably gonna be at it today because
he's a flat man. This dude's a flat earther.
See, I hate when but people take that and they take it. Let me say it like this: he's a number 2 guy on the team. Like I don't Kyrie Irving. You talking about right?
Yeah. All right.
Right. So
I got a plan. I want to make it that too.
Okay.
That's another problem. See, when they ran James up out of here, they screwed up. They did because the one thing about him is, he's a number 1. He's an alpha. Even though he's kind of peculiar himself. When you get him focused, he can run a team. Durant's not an alpha. If you know, everywhere Durant goes, he's just so god-awful talented that everybody thinks that he's not a leader. He's not a leader, man. He just outplays everybody.
Right.
But when it comes to team and when the going gets rough and you have situations on the court and off the court, leaders step up and say, hey, there are things off the court, they'll come pull them up, pull you to the side in the locker room. Hey, man, you got to cut that out, bro. Hey, we're not going that direction. You need to get with the program and get out. You know what I mean? So Durant just wants to play ball.
So
God, he's talented. He just wants to play ball.
Right.
Kyrie Irving, he should be a leader. He should be a leader, but he's so self-indulged in whatever goes on in that head of his.
Right.
He's somewhere else. You know what I mean? He takes games off because of this, because of that, because of that. If I'm that good, I know my teammates are going to look at me like, man, Come on, bro.
So
Take us to the promised land. I'll bust my butt for you because I see you busting your butt.
But I feel like now here's the thing about Kyrie. Kyrie's always ready. Like even when he think about this, players that would have sat as long as he sat, they ain't coming. They ain't right. So all I'm saying is that.
But he's a head case.
But I feel like the head case part of it is more of a media narrative because am I saying he a leader? No. I can agree that I feel like he's a number 2 guy. He's not really the leader of the team because he is. If you want to say he's kind of in an aspect self-centered as a basketball player, he kind of got like Kobe, kind of like I just want to get. But no, wait, let me say what I'm saying. Not I'm talking about as far as like it's to me it's all about scoring, getting as many buckets as possible. Like you know what I mean. Like no matter what. So he's like selfish in that aspect, and then his mentality can kind of come off as like an ego type thing, looking at players or certain people and different things. So people could look at him as a selfish player. So if you want to say like he might come up with those, yeah, I wouldn't really call him a head case because outside of the time that he took off with his family, right, he was always on the court and ready to play unless he was injured. So outside of the bubble, outside of the pandemic, we can't say Kyrie was never ready to play.
No, I'm not saying he never ready to play. I'm saying that he gets the two mixed up. You know, when you play the game.
Yeah.
With each level, as each level gets higher, the commitment goes deeper. Okay. It's only a game, but at that level, against that skill set throughout the NBA, when it comes time to win rings and things like this and playoff games, man, it's metaphorically speaking, it's do or die.
Right.
It's do or die.
Right.
And you know what do or die is? I got to give it my all. We're not going to make it. It's got to be the same way, clean across the board. Everybody on that bench, everybody lacing them up, got to be, man, we got to give it everything we got or we're not going to win. But if you got to, hold on, let me say this. But if you got it, because see, guys look at talented dudes different. When you got a guy that talented, the dude is ridiculous, that talented. And at any given moment, seems like he's like, man, you know what?
See,
I'm serious though. Serious. Because he wouldn't let things like this happen.
But how do you, when you say, the problem I have when people say any given moment, he only had really 3 situations. One of was a pandemic, right? One was a mandate.
What happened in Boston?
No, so if you want to say that's what I'm saying. So if you want to talk about the leadership aspect, I'm agreeing with that aspect. But I'm talking about, when we talking about Kyrie as a player, I can't say that he don't put the team, like, you know, he's not like a team guy. He's not like a ready guy. He's a number 2. So if I see his talent, let me bring somebody in there like a Kevin, like you said, man, like you said, maybe Kevin, like a Kevin Durant, right?
But Kevin Durant's not a leader.
But you know what it is?
You got two.
But James Harden might be a leader,
super talented.
but he's a choker.
That was a bad combination.
Kevin Durant.
You got 2 super talented guys on the team, and neither one of them are alphas. So
I would say neither one of them are leaders. No, I wouldn't say they're alphas. They're not leaders.
They're not alphas. I know alpha. Let's say alpha. That is not an alpha. That is not an alpha. Man.
Kyrie not an alpha?
No, he's not an alpha. He's super duper talented.
So what in your mind, what makes a player that's talented, what catapults him to that alpha level to you?
Because when situations start happening, like I said, on the team, whether it's on the court or off the court, an alpha will, if he doesn't handle it, you know he's trying. You know he's giving it all. He's putting it out there. And also another sign of an alpha is teammates flock to him. Teammates always like, yeah, my man, they flock to him.
So now I'm about to hit you now. So
but don't hit me, bro.
If that's your definition, right? Scottie Pippen was the alpha of the Bulls, not Michael Jordan. Because if you talk to the Bulls players, Michael Jordan was the selfish player that was so self-centered, he only worried about himself, and that's it. Pippen was the one that kept the players engaged. Pippen was the one that the players spoke to, and Pippen was the ones that, you know, that kind of kept that together. So Jordan technically was the Kyrie because he had the talent, and he could score, and he could do all those other things, but Pippen's like, you know what, let me just keep everything together all together. So if you want to talk about that alpha guy, I think you would look at Michael Jordan as an alpha, but if you look at his teammates and you listen to their stories, I don't think he was
okay.
based on your definition.
Jordan was an alpha. Jordan was an alpha because if you don't know, excuse me, if you don't know anything about the Bulls, you know that in practice, hey man, cut your phone off, bro. If you don't know anything about the Bulls, you know, in practice, Jordan was a beast. Jordan made Stacey King cry in practice.
No, I'm not.
Because he led by example, but see, it's kind of hard. Let me say this. It's kind of hard to put the Bulls, the Michael Jordan Bulls, in this equation because you have certain things that they defy explanation. Jordan defies explanation. He was like something weird you'll never see again. Like Halley's Comet. It comes this way only so many years. It flies by, enjoy the show, then it's gone. You know, you have to go something more like, I would go something more like Houston Rockets with Elijah Wan. And better yet, let's go with the Spurs.
Uh-huh.
Go with San Antonio Spurs.
And we got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, so good. Nah, we're gonna go with the Spurs.
Okay, but you go with the Spurs, all right, you got Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Duncan's obviously an alpha, but he's a quiet alpha.
But
he lives by example. But then who ran that team? Was it Tony Parker or was it Ginobili?
It was. I feel like I feel like the three were right. I think they were great leaders. But here's the thing: when we questioned Jordan Alpha, right? Without Scottie Pippen, all Jordan did was get points. And still, he couldn't lead a team. Jordan, without Scottie Pippen, he won one playoff game, right? He won no series.
Jordan
and Scottie Pippen, without Michael Jordan, has always managed players better.
Because
he made B.J. Armstrong and Horace Grant All-Stars.
If you ask me, Jordan was so good he didn't understand himself. Seriously, not to make a joke, because when you're that talented, that god-awful talented, seemed like for him, he couldn't understand why. How come the rest of these guys ain't keeping up with him? I'm serious.
Right,
he was in the league 6 years. He was in the league
Right.
6 years before they got anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I watched that whole arc, and he outplayed everybody on the court, teammates and the opposite team. The whole arena could have been against him.
But so you don't think Kyrie can do that right now? Like in practice, you don't think Kyrie's? That was one reason why James Harden got mad, because James, not just a speculation. I didn't want to hold to it, but they were saying that Kyrie was killing James Harden so bad he would get.
But see,
he would get frustrated.
Okay,
and
I'm glad you brought that up because no, Kyrie can't the way he is right now, because you know what? Jordan went through that same thing with Detroit Pistons and New York Knicks.
No,
they play bully ball on him and beat his butt.
Now watch this.
Wait.
Okay.
Listen, one thing I'll leave alone.
Okay.
What did Jordan do? Jordan figured out what they was doing. He went to the weight room. He got tougher. He got more determined. And he said, "You can knock me around the court if you want to. You're still not going to stop me."
Now watch this. I disagree with that. You know why I disagree with that? I'm not saying that part is true, but it goes back to my point. They needed Pippen. Let me tell you why. I don't care what Jordan did. Even though they had the Jordan rule, it doesn't matter what Jordan did, because a lot of times Pippen gets slack for the migraine game, right?
Yeah, but
no, that game is important, because when we talk about all the players, when we talk about their legacy, when we talk about their history, all the players, they get knocked. If LeBron don't close out a series, there's a problem. So what they did was they just kind of slid that series over to Pippen. But if you really look at it, this is a Game 7 against Detroit. You in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, Scottie Pippen got a migraine. Why can't Michael Jordan win that series? Why he got blown out? Because there was no Scottie Pippen. The next year when they got Scottie Pippen for the whole entire series, they swept the Detroit Pistons. So what I'm saying is that you mean to tell me Michael Jordan couldn't win one game against Detroit?
But see,
by himself without Scottie Pippen?
Wait a minute though. Like I said before, I watched Jordan go through that whole arc. And
I watched it too, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody else on the planet did too.
Right.
But what I think a lot of people miss is it took the coaches and general manager, organization, a long time to figure out we got to get the right kind of guys around this dude. He's a hard fit. He's a hard fit, man. He's super talented. and he can take over a game.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the type of dude where you got one chance to mess up with him. He passed you the ball, you missed the pass, you missed a shot. Jordan's not going to come back to you.
So
He's just the way he is.
Now, I agree with that, but Phil Jackson had to pretty much get him in check when he got there. He said, look, you want to win scoring titles or you want to win championship? I'm just paraphrasing, right?
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of sacrifice. I'm just saying is that the key component in all of that was Scottie Pippen, and I feel like because of like media narratives, it gets like slid under the rug because we enjoy we so excited about Michael Jordan, we kind of push all his flaws, under the carpet. We highlight everybody else's. I'm saying Jordan, like I said, I was just messing with you as far as your definition of an alpha. I look at Michael Jordan as an alpha, but I also look at Kevin Durant and Kyrie as alphas. They're just not leaders. I just look at them as not leaders. So when I brought up the Pippen thing, I was just showing you that based on your definition, I feel like if you just take Scottie Pippen off the Bulls, Michael Jordan is Kyrie Irving. He's Carmelo Anthony. He's just getting points every single day, and your team is going nowhere.
No.
He's not LeBron, because players like that, it's hard for them to lead consistently. You look at Kyrie Irving, you look at Allen Iverson, you look at Carmelo Anthony. It's hard for those guys to kind of like carry teams on a consistently basis, like, like in the playoffs. But as far as you got LeBron, he could take bombs to I don't care who you put around LeBron, he could take bombs to the finals.
But
certain players
LeBron's a semi-truck.
But even
he's a Mack truck.
But I'm just saying, LeBron is like one of the highest standard. Patrick Ewing never had really substantial talent on his team, and he was carrying these dudes to the finals, to the conference finals on a regular basis. Right. I'm just saying, like, certain players, they are built differently as far as like leadership wise. Michael Jordan was a great player, but I'm just saying is that as far as leadership wise, if you pretty much looking at like an alpha, I feel like Pippen was more the alpha because based on your definition, he was the one that was getting on play.
Okay.
He was the one that stayed connected. I'm not saying Jordan didn't get on players, but think about this. How would you feel if a player, they barely talk to you in practice, they treat you like the low opponent, and they want to get on? You're not going to receive it the same versus like a player like Pippen that's always being the middle guy, and he's the guy that when players go through, okay, we know we can talk to Pippen. We can't even talk to Jordan, but I can't talk to you in practice. But you're going to scream at me in the playoff, in the game, I might look at you like you crazy. I don't care who you are. Some people, you know what I mean? Some people got that mentality. And that's why I felt when Michael Jordan, here's what I feel like what hurt Michael Jordan's legacy to be the GOAT in my book. Because I feel like he's not the GOAT. I always had Kareem as the GOAT for a long time, right? I feel like LeBron passed Kareem this year. That's just me. But here's what I feel like took away. Because I feel like in 98, Michael Jordan should have still kept playing. He could have still kept playing. The only reason why he stopped playing because the Bulls wasn't bringing back Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen. I feel like that was the moment when you can say, okay, people kept saying I winning rings because of Pippen and Phil Jackson. That was my time to kind of take that moment because they always act like, oh, we could throw anybody around Michael Jordan and he'll win. That's how the media make it seem like he's just so untouchable.
You could say that about any player.
When you take those players away, he retired.
Actually happens.
But that's why I wanted to see that. I wanted to see Michael Jordan after '98.
You did.
Play. I wanted to.
Washington.
And that's what I'm saying. Look. And it was all right. And it was back. And it was back to the Bulls before Pippen in Washington. It was back to that team.
Jordan was burnt. He was shot.
But that's my point. He was shot. And he didn't take advantage of the young guy. He had Stackhouse in one year, and you want to kind of, even though Stackhouse outscored him, he kind of wanted to outshoot him. He kind of wanted to still be the guy. He didn't understand to be like a Duncan and saying, like, you know what, I'm going to play the backseat, and I'm going to let these guys try to develop Stack and let them get off,
But, many years in the league doing what you do.
Right, you just know one way.
Yeah,
you just know one way.
Only one way to do it, man.
Right. Yo, this is a great show, man. This is a great show.
Yeah, I dug this show.
Yeah,
too,
yo, thank y'all for checking out the show. Yo, we're gonna have Malcolm come back, man.
For what?
we gonna talk some Yankees, man. He ain't get a chance to jump on the Yankees yet, man.
I'm not going to jump on the Yankees.
Nah,
I'm not going to jump on the Yankees, but their fans better wear a hard hat. Man,
Yeah,
what
man.
is wrong with Yankee fans?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh,
I know they've been 2-8 at their last 10. The Mets, man, we've been rolling 8-2 in our last 10. We looking good out there, man. So, yo, we thank y'all. Another solid day. Mel from Queens Sports Talk. Thank you, Malcolm, for coming through. WGJS Radio. Mel from Queens. Till next time, and we're gonna be changing
Peace from
to
Malcolm.
Mondays
Peace from Malcolm.
soon. All right.
When I come back, I'm going to have some predictions for you guys.
Time move here, Gary.
Talk about elevating in Linker. Jermaine Griffin says, well, if Kobe can't do it, maybe it's my turn to take over. I'm the second leading scorer on this team.